Hello, Jacob here, and thought I'd quick jump on and sort of do a recap, I guess, from the Vikings bye week and all the news and stuff going on in the NFL. Because let's just say today a lot of stuff has happened. So yeah, let's go ahead and start off by recapping tonight's game, in which the Saints defeated the Seahawks to improve to 4-2. So yeah, go ahead and start off with the Saints here because, wow. I mean, the Saints are looking actually pretty decent this year so far. Jameis Winston actually looks like a pretty good quarterback. Their defense is actually pretty good, all things considered here. I mean, Cam Jordan and the boys are definitely humming, which is positive if you're a Saints fan, But be interesting to see if they can take on and beat the, Bucks in this case, because I mean, the Bucks are on an all different level, but the Saints have given the Bucks fits last year. Granted, like I say, Tom Brady and the boys were still trying to figure it all out in Tampa Bay at that time, but you know all things considered, though, I mean, could be an interesting battle there. And also, don't look now, but the Atlanta Falcons are kind of trending too. Now, well, that actually, yeah, I highly doubt they'll compete, but they'll definitely make it interesting. I will say that. You can never rule out any division matchup. And even though the Panthers look like hot dog water right now, after starting off 3-0, they've lost their last four. So, yeah. But the Seattle Seahawks. Woof, woof, woof. I mean, woof. And I thought our victory against them in the home opener week 3 was actually going to be a crowning achievement this year. Whew. I mean, I know Russell Wilson was a huge piece to that offense, but good golly, Miss Molly, I wasn't expecting, the team to literally crumble. Well, to be fair, though, I probably should have also seen this coming, though, because, again, heaven forbid they actually address their offensive line. Maybe actually get some, defense. Maybe draft some defense, groom some defense, and not just have it as the Jamal Adams and Bobby Wagner show. But, again, yeah. And also, Geno Smith. Oh, boy. Yeah, let's just say there's a reason he's a backup in this league. Yeah. I mean, Geno Smith looks like 2018 Kirk Cousins out there, like holding onto the ball way too long, especially with all those weapons. And yeah, my fantasy team suffered for that, but again, I wasn't expecting Mahomes and Hill to. Yikes. That's another team that we'll talk about here too real quick. The Kansas City Chiefs, looking like absolute dog water this year too. I mean, they got curb stomped by the Titans. And, oh boy. I mean, I think it's safe to say teams like the Chiefs, the Seahawks, especially those two teams are in a lot of trouble this year. Especially because the Raiders in the AFC West, by the way, the Raiders look pretty damn good this year, especially with the whole Gruden thing. I honestly think getting rid of Gruden, even without this whole email mess from like the last few weeks and all that stuff, I don't know. I just feel like Gruden was really holding this team back. I mean, even going in the last couple of years, and their drafting has been, well, let's just say they've reached on a lot of players so far. But, And the Chargers are looking just as legit. I mean, I'm not saying the Chiefs are out of it, because, again, we're only going in week 8 here, but they are in a lot of trouble. And Denver, better luck next year. So, yeah. And then kind of moving into a little bit of actual news here and stuff like that. Well, first and foremost, the Minnesota Vikings did ship off Stephen Weatherly to, ironically enough, the Broncos for a 2022 7th-round pick, while giving up a 2023 7th-round pick. So, I mean, Stephen Weatherly was a good player for us. He just never really got on the field because Wanham and, like, Everson Griffin, that defensive line looks like the defensive line from 2017, like 2019, so thank you. It's kind of nice to actually have a top 5, off our defensive line in the league. And, yeah, so, it's kind of nice having pass rushers again. Because last year, I think we had like 23 sacks in all of, 2020, and we already had like 21 at the bye, so, again, thank you, EG. So, yeah, it's amazing what pass rush can do. Anyway. Plus, our offensive line is actually looking a little bit better than it was last year, too, which is nice. And then also, I believe the Rams gave up one of their linebackers, too, to the Broncos. Joe Flacco goes to the Jets. I mean, a lot of, like, little transactions that probably really won't mean much in the grand scheme of things, but they're definitely, big enough news articles to kind of mention something about that. Yeah, so, yeah, let's just say after 7 weeks in the NFL, it's definitely been, again, interesting to say the least, because, the Buccaneers are up there towards the top, the Saints are looking pretty good so far, the Cardinals are the lone undefeated team, which, by the way, raise your hand if you saw that happening, the Cincinnati Bengals are atop the AFC North after 7 weeks. The Cincinnati Bengals are atop the AFC North after 7 weeks, after going into Baltimore and curb stomping them. In Baltimore, by the way. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, just like everyone predicted, right? Holy moly. I mean, again, it'd be interesting to see come like week 14, week 15, if that's still the same case or not. But, at the just going on about, 8 weeks or so into the year, it's kind of interesting seeing these teams sort of develop and change and all that stuff. Which leads me into another news article, which could actually be pretty big here. The Arizona Cardinals taking on the Green Bay Packers, and the Green Bay Packers might be without one of their big weapons for this week, in Davante Adams, who tested positive for the Rona. So, and then Matt Nagy, coach of the Bears, also tested positive for coronavirus. So, yeah, I mean, granted, thankfully with the Bears getting absolutely mollywomped by the Bucs yesterday, that helps us out. But again, we have to keep winning, and it'll just be interesting to see moving forward here over the next few weeks just how the NFC North shakes out, because right now it's definitely Green Bay's division to lose. But they very easily could lose it because now they're getting into a beefy part of their schedule too. I mean, because remember, they play a lot of the same teams we do this year, so. Including Baltimore, including Arizona. It's just, yeah. Don't forget Kansas City either. Granted, Kansas City's not looked the same way they have in the past, but, they're still the Chiefs for a reason. So, but yeah, I mean, all things considered, sort of a little wrap up for the Week 7 NFL news and sort of like my thoughts on the NFL season going into the month of November. It's definitely been an interesting season so far. And then, yeah, I mean, that basically wraps it up for the NFL portion of this. Now, while also I didn't really follow much of the Wild this weekend, I know that they beat Anaheim in overtime and got their brakes absolutely stomped in by Nashville on Sunday. So they are currently 4-1. Either 3-1 or 4-1 right now. So, I mean, the Wild look all right, but again, from what I heard, Kakinen, so. Might be something to keep an eye on in the future. But, yeah, I mean, right now the Wild are in a really good position, especially considering the Chicago Blackhawks. Yikes, yikes, and more yikes. Oh, boy. But anyway, whether you believe that's karma from the whole stuff from the summer or whatever, I mean, good God. I wasn't expecting him to be great per se, but I wasn't expecting him to be this bad either, so, yeah. And plus, yeah, we're officially at that time of year where Toronto Maple Leafs fans think it's the end of the world, so that's always kind of fun to watch. Granted, I understand them. I'm a Vikings fan, so, you probably have the same anxiety levels as they do at this point. But anyway, yeah, so that'll pretty much wrap this whole, sort of rambly sports update video for now. And, yeah, I mean, again, stay tuned because I will kind of do, like, my thoughts on the Vikings season so far and preview the Dallas Halloween night game. Because remember, we take on the Cowboys this week on Sunday Night Football. So that'll be interesting. I don't know if I'll really be able to do much of a post-game per se because I'll probably be working, but who knows? So, stay tuned for all that stuff as well. So, but yeah, that'll pretty much conclude this video. And also stay tuned one last time here too because I do have one more pickup coming in the mail probably within the next day or two. So, yeah, let's just say it has something to do with what I'm wearing. And yes, I am wearing my Sam Bradford Nike Elite jersey. And, yeah, well, because, again, the Rams this year, too, are looking very, very good, too. So, I mean, the NFC West right now is looking like a battle between Arizona and the Rams. So, again, it'll be interesting to see kind of going down the stretch here, the teams that actually finish up, the teams that get past, the teams that, because, again, as we're going into November and we start hitting that second half of the season, it'll be interesting to see overall. So, but yeah, until we meet again, this is Jacob. Cheers. Have a good night.